doing?
I'm making a beef feeder, a bucket beef feeder.
5-gallon bucket beef feeder?
5-gallon bucket beef feeder.
Okay. And so the tools that you need is a drill, right? And what size drill bit?
7/64.
7/64. And then how far down do you make the holes in the bucket?
1 7/16.
1 7/16. How far apart do you make them?
The way I don't measure it, I look for my cavities.
Oh, with a flashlight.
And I find the center of each cavity and mark it.
Show them the other side of the bucket so they'll see what the cavities are. Oh, wait, be still. I got to get the camera on it. Okay, so that's those little cavities. Is that where the bees will eat? Is from those little drinking? That'll be like their drinking fountains.
That's
Each one of those little diamonds will hold the fluid of the sugar water.
But one important note: where these handles are, those cavities do not get drilled.
Okay.
If you drill them, it will leak out and you'll constantly.
Oh yeah, because there's a hole where the handle goes.
Yeah, it'll ooze out around that handle.
Okay. All right, so you're drilling every cavity in the center except for where the bucket lid is, and the skeeters are out big time.
Yeah,
and
the handle is.
Okay, and so you was telling me about the little device that you had fixed up?
Yeah, there's more. You could just draw a circle all the way at 1 7/16, which is practically 1.5.
It's almost 1.5?
Yeah, 1.5 would work too. It wouldn't matter. It just 1.5 to put it just one hole deeper, closer to the top.
Okay, but it's 1 7/16 deep from the edge of the top of the bucket.
Yeah. See, I got that measured 1 7/16. I drilled it big enough for my marker, so I can just go through here and mark them.
Oh, your hand's in the way. There we go. Okay, so show us you doing one.
Okay, I already marked this one, but all I did to mark it, it don't have to be exact center, I hope. This is the first one I built, but I just kind of got it in the center. You got to make sure that lip's on there.
Your hand's in the way. I can't see.
Well, I'm kind of holding.
Well, if I can't see, they can't see. It's my fault.
Okay.
Okay.
And so I just mark a dot.
Mark a dot in the hole that you made in your measuring caliber.
You could just draw a circle around, and you can kind of see the cavities on the inside anyway with this light, if you see how it's molded.
Yeah.
But to me, it's easier just to do it the way I'm doing it, because I'm about blind. And then I got this one marked. And you gotta be sure you don't drill through the outside ledge. You just gotta go through the one layer, or you messed it up. See how it hits. If you drill through that part, you messed it up. You'll have a hole you'll have to plug.
Okay. Gorilla tape to the rescue, maybe.
Yeah, or caulking or
something.
You'd have to.
So have you just got one more hole to make?
One more, that's it.
Just one more hole. Well, let's see you do that one then from scratch.
What I'm doing, I just kind of get it close to the middle. I take my Sharpie and make a mark. And then I try to drill in the middle with my mark. It ain't rocket science. Of course, it may not work, but we'll have to come back after we're done and make sure it works. But it should be pretty obvious. Now they're all drilled. They're all pretty evenly spaced.
Okay.
I mean, they're not perfect.
All right, and I've got to wash the bucket.
Yeah, I've already pressure washed it once, but this purple stuff washes off because I just cleaned some of it off.
All right, so I'll take soap and water and wash that really good like I did the lid. And then we're going to build a moat to keep the ants out and put our sugar water in it, and we'll show you how it works. Okay, so here is our sugar water. This was a 10-pound bag of sugar. And so for every 4 cups of sugar, I put 4 cups of water into this pot right here on the stove. And I just heated it on low until the sugar water was clear. Now, I've also added 2 cups of that water in a blender. I put 1/8 teaspoon of tea tree, 1/8 teaspoon of lemongrass, and 1/4 teaspoon of wintergreen, and then I blended it with that 2 cups of water. And then when this was cool again, and I wouldn't risk hurting the essential oils with the heat, I added that to the sugar water. So the sugar water smells really good, don't it? I mean, it smells good enough to eat, don't it?
It smells like candy.
Smells like candy. All right, so then we will add the lid, and we'll snap that down, and then we'll show you what we're going to do next. And now the next sugar water that goes in here, we will lift up this spout, and it screws off once you bring it up, and we'll pour our sugar water through that so we don't have to open the lid, and then press it back, screw back on the lid and then press it back flat. Okay, so we've got our mold set up.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. So that we can pour water in the mold, and the ants hopefully see if it settles. He said you'd lose some sugar water.
No, that isn't the problem. The problem is that handle's going to give the ants a highway.
We might have to tape it up.
Yeah.
Is it still boiling over on the side closest to you, the sugar water?
Everything looks good.
It was boiling over the trough on your side.
Yeah. Yeah, I lost a little.
But is it still trickling over? It looks like it is. They said you would lose a little when you first done it till the suction gets going. Now it looks like it stopped. Okay, so here is the bee feeder. One bee has already come and started licking the syrup off the side of the bucket that got on there from my hands or somebody's hands. And you can see that the sugar water has come out into this little trough from where the hole is drilled. And then we have water in the pan below it to keep the ants out. And the bees can come up and perch here and drink the sugar water. And I also put 2 teaspoons of mineral, that Himalayan pink salt, mineral salt, in there as well, which was recipes. These recipes were found online. I do want to give credit to the Fat Bee Man. He has some really great recipes, and I got the essential oil recipe from him. And there was a bee swarming me. And so our first bee has found it, although he hasn't actually found the trough. He's just licking the sugar water off the side. And a fly has found it. I don't know. Does flies like sugar water?
Yep.
Do they? Okay. And now we've got it sitting on 2 cement blocks to get it up off the ground so the grass won't grow up around it and then give avenue for the ants to climb into the troughs. Then we flushed out the trough with water to try to get most of the sugar water out. And then we filled it up with water. And there you go. It's a bee feeder for our bees. And the reason that we're feeding our bees is because our bees are all new hives, this year hives. Some of them we've built ourselves, some of them we've got out of a tree, and that last one we combined a camper harvest where we got them out of a pop-up camper and a small hive in a tree. And then the rest of the big one we bought, it was a brand new hive from this year. It is the biggest of the bunch. And then the one on each side of it, we built from splits from it. So when you're harvesting when you're growing bees, you got to feed them. And the tea tree and the lemongrass and the wintergreen helps to keep the bees healthy. Now the bees after Steve, and Steve is chasing it with the flashlight. Did he get you?
I don't know.
He didn't get you.
Something got me.
Did you think that a flashlight would scare away a bee?
I figured you'd blind him.
You were just going to blind him?
Yeah. Maybe he'd crack.
Okay, this is day 2, and our bees still haven't found the sugar water. But we did have a rain, which diluted it to some degree. So we decided to put a little bit of honey just around the lip, all the way around, because you can see where we've got holes for every cavity. And so I just took some honey and just on a spoon just dribbled some all the way around the edge. So we'll see how that works on attracting our bees to the sugar water. Day 3, and the bees have found it. We did have to remove the molt because they were trying to drink water from the molt, and it was to keep the ants out, and they were drowning in it. So we're going to set up another feeder with just water in it so that the bees can have a water source and a sugar water source. So looks like we have success. I'm in my car. I'm hiding behind steel and glass.